All right, now don't forget, coming up September 6th and 7th in Oaks, Pennsylvania, I will be at RetroCon with an original kit. So if you are in the area, or even if you're not in the area and you want to come meet me for the first time, or maybe the second or third or 100th time, and if you want to see Kit, get a chance to sit in him, get your photo with Kit, be sure to come out to RetroCon September 6th and 7th in Oaks, PA, just outside of Philadelphia. Hey guys, we're back with another semi video. Got a couple really interesting things to show you in the semi. We've got the schematic blueprints mounted on the wall. Wait till you see it. Completely transforms the garage area. It makes it look, well, just like the set. And really, that's, except for the drop-down analyzer, I think that's the last thing to do in the garage area. So that's exciting. We also just, hot off the press, got the ramp extensions back from the fabricator. So we're going to show you those, and hopefully before too long we'll actually get them installed. And I thought, while I'm out here showing you some stuff, why don't I show you our two screen use kits together for the first time. This is the only place on the planet where you can see two screen use kits together. So there's not much to show. I've already shown you both the cars individually, but I thought it'd be really neat for you to see two of the original cars together. They really, for the most part, have not been together since 1986. So all that and more on this episode from the Knight Rider Historians. So let's go. There are some big things happening in the world of the Knight Rider Historians. And if you guys want to stay up to date on those things, head over to knightriderhistorians.com. At the very top of the page, click on join and sign up to receive email alerts. We've got something really, I think, exciting for the Knight Rider community coming up. And we're going to reveal that first through those who have joined the Knight Rider Historians. It's 100% free. You just go in, you put in your first name, your email address, hit submit, you're done. Super simple, takes about half a second, but you'll be alerted to new things we have coming up, previews of merchandise, discounts, different things like that. So knightriderhistorians.com, click join at the top, fill out the form, hit submit, and you'll be among the first to know what's coming up next for the Knight Rider Historians. All right, so before we get into the semi, I wanted to give a special shout out to a couple different people who have sent me things for the semi. Two things for the semi. One thing just is something I've been looking for a while. So we'll start with the semi. Let's talk about the lounge real quick. So in the lounge, you know, you've got your kitchenette, your cabinets, there's a sofa, and if you remember, there's a tall oak timber covered cabinet, and there's a telephone in that cabinet. Now, we've shown you in the past, we kind of mocked it up. We have the telephone, but we were missing the bezel for the telephone, which apparently is pretty hard to find. And we were getting ready, you know, the telephone you see on the show was painted. It was painted like a matte black, red trim, red handset. So we were preparing to paint all that. Well, a fan of the channel, Chad Perkins, made this a whole lot easier for us because he 3D printed the trim piece in the correct maroon color. And he sent us a vintage maroon AT&T handset that is the exact right color. I think it's probably what they used back then. So we are not going to have to paint the telephone hardly at all. The red parts are actually red, which is awesome. So when we got the phone, it was this color, this, you know, silly putty, flesh colored color. And like I said, Chad sent us a new handset, 3D printed a frame. We painted the phone, and here it is. So this is completely restored, exactly like you see on the show. And it's ready to be installed once we finish that wall in the lounge. Isn't that awesome? It's so cool. Now, it's not hooked up to anything. And sure, at some point, we are going to hook this up. But for now, we're just going to get it installed because, you know, we got to get this semi done. So special thank you to Chad for getting us the last pieces we need to finish this project. All right. I also wanted to give a special shout out to Brian Munyon. So you guys might remember on one of the previous semi videos, I talked about how there was like a linear actuator or something. So whenever the rear ramp, whenever the winch starts releasing the rear ramp, it gets pushed just a little bit to help it start its journey down to the ground. And I'd mentioned like a 12-volt linear actuator. In reality, we don't know if it was that or if it was just like a spring-loaded type of deal. So whenever the tension is released from the winch cable, that spring comes out, pushes the door. Honestly, that's the easier solution. So Brian took it upon himself to make us a custom spring-loaded plunger, pusher, whatever you want to call it. So again, all we had is like one screenshot showing this, but this gets mounted up in the top center of the opening in the back. And you can see here, he did just a really cool job. So simple too. So this will get welded to the frame at the top. And when the doors close, it'll compress this. When we release the cables, it'll pop it out and pop the door open. So a special thank you to Brian for sending us that. He even powder coated this thing. I mean, it's amazing. Absolutely amazing. All right, and then finally, Ray Garrett. This is not related to the semi, but Ray Garrett, you guys might remember I did a video a little while ago on the J.C. Whitney scanner. And I had a brand new one, a red one in the box. And I said, well, I'm still looking for the amber version that J.C. Whitney sold back in the 90s. And sure enough, Ray contacted me. He's like, hey, I have 2 of them. I used to have these on my car. I don't need them anymore. Where can I send them? So he sent me 2 of the amber scanners. Let me get the other one out here. There's the other one. So how awesome is that? This one I have in my hand works perfectly. The other one, I think a bulb might be burnt out or 2. It needs a little bit of work, but not much. So huge thank you to Ray for this. I'm going to mount this up on my new garage wall, I think. So, all right. So that's all I have to show here. So now let's go out to the semi and I'm going to show you some really cool progress that we've made on it. All right, so let's go inside and I'll show you what's been done with the semi since our last video. There's been a few updates. I was actually on vacation for about 2 weeks. So I didn't get as much done as I had hoped. Well, I was on vacation, a well-needed vacation. So before I show you the schematics, which are going to blow your mind, let's just walk over here. So this has temporarily become a little bit of a storage area. But you can see we've got the corner piece roughed in. Still have to cover with the oak timber and whatnot. Again, that's going to house some HVAC, some batteries, all of our kind of utilities will be back behind here and back behind here. So, but this is starting to come together. This kitchenette is exactly where it will be when it's all said and done. And then you have the little countertop here, some cabinets right here, cabinets right there. One thing I realize that I have to figure out. So you guys, longtime followers of this restoration, you'll remember that track across the ceiling. This piece was original, still there, and it was cut off, and then we replicated the rest of it, which was there. We know that that was a like a trolley track to hold this cable up. And we need to, because you see, even under tension, because it's such a long span from here all the way to the door in the back. So we need to use the trolley to hold this cable up. But the problem is, which I didn't realize till right now is, I didn't think about, is when this winch goes out or comes in, this cable rides back and forth. And this, you can see here, the track on the ceiling doesn't have any play this way. So we need to come up with a solution where we can put our trolley in there, which we have, but then make it so the cable can move back and forth here, but also hold this up. Because one thing we're running into is this is actually hitting this wall whenever the door goes up and down. So we definitely want to be able to support that a little bit. So I got to figure that out there. Hopefully that made sense. The HVAC, I've got plans here for the HVAC system. Originally I was going to have the registers hidden up in here, but once I got everything put in place, I realized that is not going to look well because we have the egg crate and then we had to put another diffuser behind it. So if we cut that out to allow the airflow, it's not going to look right. You're going to clearly see it. So we're actually going to run the ductwork along the floor, and the register is going to be under the wall unit here. So you're really not going to notice it too much. And really, if you think about it, in houses, most houses, the registers are on the floor anyways, so that'll work out well. So we're going to run the ductwork down below here. So it'll be somewhat hidden. You'll just kind of see the registers, but we'll paint them black. All right, the ceiling is 100% complete, except I still have to replace this one panel that got broken during installation, but that's not a problem. I have extras. All right, are you ready to see the awesomeness that is the wiring diagrams? Ready? Look at that. Tell me that isn't amazing. So for those of you who aren't familiar, I did a video on these wiring diagrams because for the longest time, I had no idea what these were. I didn't know if the art department there just made them, or if they were off the shelf, whatever they were. Turns out these are actually from an old Haynes manual for a second generation Firebird. Once I figured that out, and it took a lot of research and a lot of analysis. Once I figured that out, I bought the Haynes book, and it's only a certain version of the Haynes book, not even updated ones, that had these exact ones. Once I found it, I scanned the pages, blew them up, and then colored them exactly as they were in the show. So these are 100% accurate to what you saw on the show. Now, I actually do sell copies of these, both digital and actual posters, on knightriderhistorians.com if you're interested. These ones are blown up a little bit bigger than the ones I sell, just a little bit, because these are the sizes that we needed to put in here to make it all proportioned correctly. So now the ones on the set were literally hung with fishing line. And there's even times when you see Michael run by and they move, they shake from the breeze. Obviously, we couldn't have that here, so I crafted a way. These are actually connected via almost like U-bolts to the bars here. So these do not move. They are solid, and they will withstand running down the road, which is what we wanted. So what do you guys think of that? Amazing, isn't it? So really with that, we've got the garage area all done. This is one of my favorite views of this area because you see the walls there, the red carpet. Amazing, isn't it? There's the ceiling. So really, the next thing we're going to work on here is we're going to get this lounge You saw we already started on it. So we're going to get the lounge, the partition, the submarine door. We're going to get all of that kind of put together. All right, so you guys have seen where we're at with the door. Nothing has changed since our last video. But what has changed is we got the ramp extensions in from the fabricator. Now those ramp extensions fit right in these cavities, right here and right there. And there's a winch that gets mounted under the back. The winch cables come through this hole, and that's what retracts or extends the ramp extensions. So that's the last really big fabrication piece that we were waiting for. And I'm pleased to say we got it back, and here it is. All mocked up. Nothing is, these are all still individual pieces. They still need welded, bolted together, all that stuff. But take a look at this. The fab shop did a really great job. And again, this was all designed by screenshots, detailed screenshots. Another shout out to Glenn Holzer. Glenn designed the ramp. He designed the entire ramp. He designed the sleeper. He designed these ramp extensions, and he knocked it out of the park again. We would not be anywhere near as far along without Glenn's help. So special thanks to Glenn. Yeah, so this is all 1/4-inch aluminum. These aren't in. These are just laying in here. They'll be smooth with this. But there's aluminum bar under here to lift that up, and then you can see the ramp comes up and then sits on top of these lips over here. There are brackets which I don't have. I mean, I have them, but I don't have them with me right now. There's special brackets that go in right here, and that's where the cables are going to attach to be able to pull this in from inside the door. Yeah, just really, really, really pleased with how this has all come together. What do you guys think? Big thanks to Mr. Irving Jensen. Irving, as you might remember, funded the ramp construction, and he also funded these ramp extensions. So without his help, we would not nearly be as far as we are in this project. So thank you so much, Irving. You guys, put down in your comments below, make sure to thank Irving. Let him know how much you appreciate him and what he's done for this project. So I've already sent a message to Zach, our resident welder, who's helped us so much on this project, seeing when he can get out here, get this thing welded together where it needs to be welded, and get it installed. It weighs a lot. Even though it's aluminum, it's heavy. So the ramp extensions. So this back here, this piece will get bolted. There's 3 bolts that will go in here. I didn't have them drill the holes because I wasn't exactly sure where I wanted them, so those I'll drill out. Those won't be a problem. 3 holes here, 3 holes here, brackets here, and that should do just fine. And really, you only see like this part of the ramp to right about here, I think, all stays inside of the door, even when it's fully extended. You only really see from there out. So Kitt's wheels will be driving up here, and then they'll hit the actual ramp, not the ramp extensions, like right about here. So it'll be interesting to try this all. Now, on the show, in some instances, you'd see a set of dollies, like a wheel dolly, right at this pivot point, right where the main door hits the ramp extensions. Those weren't part of the ramp itself. Those were bolted on. They would start the door open, pull the ramp extensions out, pause filming, put the dolly in, and then continue. And that was just to give that piece right there a little bit more support, because that's going to be our weakest point when we're driving a 3,200-pound Trans Am up here. But later on in the series, they didn't even use the dollies. They just drove right up without it. So we'll see. Probably end up going to end up making those dollies and finding a way to attach them. So there you go. Ramp extensions are done. Oh, and don't want to forget about this. So these sheets of aluminum are the outer skin for the back of the ramp door. So we've got those in. They're cut to size. But obviously those will go on once we get the extensions all where they need to be. All right, so here, not related to the semi, well, sort of related to the semi, 2 screen use kits together again. What a blessing it is to be able to bring this video to you. What history these cars have. One of the original pilot kits used in all 4 seasons, one of the stunt cars used in the 3rd and 4th season, the car that was used in the opening intro when it's racing towards you in the desert, and the car that was being chased by the Juggernaut at the airport at the end of Night of the Juggernaut. Season 3 and 4 dash, season 1, 2 dash. A couple of you guys on our last video, when we did a reveal that we had this car back, wanted to know more about this Chevy. Maybe I'll give you guys a couple minutes on the Chevy here in a minute. There we go. This car has about 2,200 original miles. This one has about 650 original miles. So the Chevy here. I do not have this Chevy because of Knight Rider 2000. There's no connection at all. It's a weird coincidence. This actually belongs to a member of my wife's family, and her uncle. He had passed away a few years ago, and this Chevy was sitting in his barn for about 10 years. My wife's aunt, she's still alive. We asked to be able to pull the car out, get it running again. So last fall, my son and I towed it out, hooked a strap to it, pulled it out of this shed it was in. A couple mice had made residence in it, but they didn't do too much damage. Wouldn't start, wouldn't go into gear, none of that stuff. So I rebuilt the carburetor. I got it running, runs amazing. Transmission still had some issues. So the spring, I took it to a buddy of mine. He ended up replacing the clutch in it, and runs great now. So much fun to drive. This car is not original in any way. I ran the tags on it. It was originally a light pink with a white top. It was an automatic V6. But now it has where's the hood? It has a 283 in it. I think it's a 283. And then a 4-speed Muncie in it. So it's a lot of fun to drive, but not, like I said, not really original in any way. He changed it to bucket seats. Not he. It was like this one. My uncle bought it in 1990. But it's a fun car to drive. We're going to do a few things to it. It needs new tires. We're going to put the original wheels back on with white wall tires, and I have the original hubcaps in there. Might put the original steering wheel back in. I have that. It's in the trunk. But other than that, we're just going to kind of drive it and enjoy it for now. It's better than it just sitting, rotting away in a shed. So we've put a few miles on it, but like I said, those tires are pretty sketchy. In fact, 2 weeks ago, I came in here and one of the tires had completely blown out, as you can see here. So these are the original rims. I painted the outside blue. The hubcaps will cover the middle, so they'll match nicely with the car. But there's the story on the Chevy. Let me know if you guys want to see any more on this, maybe a drive, or I can pull it out and we can do a deeper dive on it if you want. But that's the story on it. Has nothing to do with Knight Rider 2000 at all. Just a happy coincidence. So for now, it lives with the other two original kits. And here, let me get a good angle. Watch this. Watch this. There we go. Kit, semi. And that car, I think I mentioned this in our last video, that car is one of the few cars that actually drove up into the semi in motion in one of the episodes. So this one, I don't think ever did. There you go. There's your two kits together.
Hello friends, it's me, Kit. When I'm not out fighting crime, I like to follow my friends at knightriderhistorians.com. Check it out.